comparison, the 2024 Aston Martin DB12 versus 2024 Maserati GranTurismo details. The route Napoleon, which climbs north from the French Riviera to Grenoble, is widely considered one of the best driving roads in Europe, with a spectacular collection of narrow switchbacks and high-speed curves connected by brief straights. Much of it runs through national parkland, so traffic is light. It's hardly a secret, though, and you'll find groups of motorcyclists, driving tour groups, and, inevitably, campers also on the route. The ideal car for the route Napoleon is one that's tight and responsive in the twisties, poised through the fast curves, and with deep reserves of power in order to rip past dawdlers in the brief passing zones and roar triumphantly through the valleys. Something like the Aston Martin DB12. The GranTurismo sports car has made a triumphant comeback for the 2024 model year, wearing a gorgeous new look that marries old school and new school Maserati designs. Sitting alongside the MC20 sports car in the Maserati lineup, the GranTurismo is offered with a detuned version of that car's white-hot Napoleon twin-turbo V6 engine. The GranTurismo is also offered as a fully electric model called GranTurismo Folgore, which we review separately. We also expect a convertible version, called Gran Cabrio, too, but probably not until the 2025 model year. All gasoline-powered models come with all-wheel drive and an 8-speed automatic transmission. No matter the powertrain, the GranTurismo impresses with its dual nature, providing luxury car amenities as well as sports car-like performance and driving enjoyment. The DB12 is a big car, and it feels plenty wide when you're threading it along the narrow streets of the Côte d'Azur. Fortunately, the steering, which has been revised for greater precision both on and off-center, makes placing this car easy. It's the same quickness as before, 2.4 turns lock to lock, and the ratio is fixed, which aids predictability. The level of power assist varies with speed and drive mode, but not wildly so. On-center precision was also a key quality in the design of the DB12 specific Michelin Pilot Sport S5 tires. 275/35 ZR21 up front, 325/30 ZR21 at the rear. The GranTurismo will be all new when it goes on sale in 2023, marking a return of the nameplate that disappeared from the Maserati lineup after the 2019 model year. The GranTurismo is offered in base Medina and performance-oriented Trofeo trims, and we go with the latter. The Trofeo comes with more horsepower and includes unique forged wheels, an electronically locking differential, and racier-looking exterior and interior design elements. So too was grip, and the DB12 has plenty. Pushing it as hard as we dared, it was impossible to upset this chassis, even when surprised by a tightening blind corner or suddenly booting the accelerator powering out of a curve. Aston claims 52% of the car's mass rides on the rear wheels, and the DB12 feels incredibly balanced, with eager turn-in and little front-end push. The GranTurismo gets a detuned version of the MC20 sports car's twin-turbo V6 engine. The entry-level Medina trim makes 483 horsepower, but upgrading to the Trofeo boosts power to 542 ponies. Both models are capable of quiet and comfortable cruising. The engine is both characterful and sonorous, and its unique twin-combustion design has roots in Formula One racing. The most powerful GranTurismo model will be the all-electric Folgore, reviewed separately, which makes a combined 750 horsepower from its 3 electric motors. All gasoline-powered GranTurismo models come standard with an 8-speed automatic and all-wheel drive. A manual transmission is not offered. With the drive mode set to comfort, the standard air suspension soaks up bumps admirably and delivers a smooth, even ride. In sport mode, the GranTurismo transforms into a more focused sports car, with firmer suspension settings, heavier weighted steering, and a more baritone exhaust note emanating from the tailpipes. With its launch control function engaged, Maserati claims the 483 horsepower. GranTurismo Medina is capable of hitting 60 miles per hour in 3.7 seconds, which is only 0.5 seconds slower than what the more powerful and lighter MC20 did at our test track. The 542 horsepower Trofeo model boasts a claimed 0 to 60 mph of 3.5 seconds. While the GranTurismo's chassis is dynamically well sorted, we wished its brakes were more confidence-inspiring, as the car we drove for our initial test drive had a limp-feeling pedal despite what seemed like decent braking performance. When we get a chance to drive the GranTurismo on our home turf, we'll update this story with test results. Chassis tuning for the new DB12 was undertaken with the goal of preserving ride quality, but sharpening handling. The three main drive modes, GT, Sport, and Sport Plus, are joined by the new wet and individual modes. There are also 9 levels of traction control once you switch off ESC, although that capability wasn't active on the pre-production cars we drove. Director of Vehicle Performance Simon Newton talks about wanting to allow the car to breathe, which meant tuning the new Bilstein DTX adaptive dampers to allow some vertical motion even in the firmest setting. That firmest setting does preserve a measure of ride quality, more so than most Mercedes-AMG or BMW M cars in their max attack mode. The EPA estimates that the GranTurismo should deliver 18 miles per gallon city and 27 miles per gallon highway, numbers that aren't too bad considering this sports car's performance potential. Once we get a production model in for testing, we'll also put it through our 75 miles per hour highway fuel economy test and report our findings. The biggest mechanical change from DB11 to 12 is under the hood. The twin-turbocharged 4.0-liter V8 again hails from AMG, but is much brawnier than the DB11s. Larger turbochargers, revised cam profiles, and a higher compression ratio push output to 671 horsepower and 590 pound-feet of torque, an additional 143 horses and 77 pound-feet. The new V8 also tops the previously available V12 630 horses and 516 pound-feet. The V12 isn't currently on offer for the DB12, but Aston insiders hint that it could make a return. The GranTurismo is a 2-door, 2+2 4-seater with a small back seat that's as much about luxury as speed. The cabin is draped in high-end materials and upscale finishes, and Maserati is baked in plenty of amenities throughout the design. Comfortable front seats and good outward visibility make the GranTurismo easy to live with daily and would be accommodating on a long drive. Rear seat space is slightly more generous than the previous generation model, but it's still a space best left for kids or handbags. The trunk appears large enough for a weekend trip's worth of luggage, but when we get a GranTurismo to our office,